Water tanks has an artillery problem. What's the issue? Well, it's bad. It's toxic. Like, players don't like the stun. I would wager to say you have probably quit playing a night because artillery was focusing you, and you just couldn't deal stand being stunned the whole time. The other aspects is players think artillery is unfair because it sits at the back of the map. You can't do anything against it. I have a proposed solution. It is a complete rework that will completely change the way you play artillery, and I'd love to read in the comments what you guys think because I've had some mixed opinions about the changes that I have. To I like it, it's better than it was. To I hate it, and I'd love to read it, guys, because I'm ready for it. If you hate it, let me know why you hate it. If you like it, let me know why you like it. But let's get on with it. So, first, what do we hope to achieve with these changes? Well, we're going to remove the most unpopular mechanic in the game, which I would argue is the stun. No one likes it. It does nothing to enhance gameplay. It just frustrates players. We're going to allow artillery to now have an impact on the match's outcome. Currently, I would say it's very, very rare that artillery has any kind of impact in the outcome of a match. Artillery is now going to be more mobile, it's going to be challenging, and it's going to actually have some rewarding gameplay. And it's going to achieve its original purpose of digging out dug-in tanks. So if you're one of these players that likes camping in your E3, well, this will now be able to dig you out. So what are these new arty changes that I am talking about? Well, this rework, all artillery will now have a siege mode. 4 seconds to enter, 4 seconds to leave. Now, this is going to come with DPM changes, accuracy changes, mobility changes, and we're going to look at a T92 of what it would now look like after all this, so stay tuned. Mobility will be reduced in siege mode. Yep. Basically, if you get caught out in siege mode, it's going to be very difficult for you to escape, so positioning is going to be everything. Mobility will be increased outside of siege mode. I have a mechanic that's going to force players to actually be moving around the map, and um, that's going to make artillery going to have more mobility. Particularly, not so much the French, but particularly like the Americans, the Germans, things like that. Damage drop over distance. Yeah. So now if you want to do more damage in artillery, you're going to have to actually find ways to get closer. And that means that you're going to, positioning is going to be everything. Damage buff increased to HE rounds, 50%. So the reward for getting closer is you're going to do more damage, and quite a bit so. HP buff. If we're going to force artillery to move in close, it's going to have more HP. No longer will you be able to just one-shot an artillery player. It's going to take a little bit of effort to bring them down, but keep in mind, we're going to be forcing them to get in significantly closer. Max range, 500 meters. To be honest, I don't know how much of a change this really will be. A lot of maps that, you know, you can be within 500 meters anyway, but there's going to be a lot of them that you're going to have to move in closer. And because you're going to be doing damage, uh, the closer you are, you're going to have to try to think of new ways and new positions to play artillery. So no longer will you just be sitting in the corner. Players will be able to move up, spot you, and kill you. However, if you use all the cover properly, you're going to be really rewarded for that. Stun removed. Yes, it's awful. It's got to go. Damage to exterior modules increased. And this is going to be really important because one of the frustrating things I get is no one comes up with solutions to the stun missions. They like, can we just remove arty missions? Well, I think that's actually a bad idea. We should make artillery fun that players want to play it, but the mission's doable without it being so toxic. So we're going to see how that does, but I have a proposal for that. Damage to interior modules reduced. So I've mentioned this. There's going to be a huge DPM boost while in siege mode. And one thing I don't want happening is crew members being constantly knocked out. So, in my vision of this, basically artillery would not be doing a lot of internal module damage, very similar to Czech light tanks, where you could, but you're probably not. However, to things like tracks, artillery will be doing a lot of damage to like tracks. So that's going to be really important to how the missions change. There are no proposed changes to AP and heat rounds. So What will this look like? Well, the current T92, this is with a premium shell, has 1400 damage, reload time of almost 47 seconds, bad aim time, bad dispersion, no HP, and poor stationary camo, and moving camo for that matter. So what will this look like? Whoa, that's a big change. Okay, so we get the Polish mechanic of shell damage drop over distance. At 50 meters, 2100 damage. Remember that 50% increase? That's where that came from. Shell damage at 200 meters is actually less than it currently is at 1053. Yes, you're going to have to actually move up to do more damage. And at 500 meters is 421. Now, keep in mind, these are HE shells. So you're doing significantly less than a number. So that 421 is probably like 60 damage most of the time. If you're sitting at max range, you're not doing anything. But if you can move up closer, that's pretty significant. All right, reload. Outside siege mode. Yes, remember that siege mode is 40 seconds. Inside of it is 20. So you basically get a 100% DPM increase by being inside siege mode. But remember, you have no mobility when you're in it. Aim time decreased. So that 5 seconds while in siege mode is actually less than it currently is. Dispersion, 0.5. You're going to actually be able to hit your shots when you're in siege mode. HP pull, 1500. This is basically because you have to now move up if you want to be doing quite a bit of damage with artillery. And 200 meters is not that far away. So my guess is if you're hitting them, you're going to be able to guess where they're at. All right. Stationary camo and moving camo. You see that's drastically improved from where it was. Now, this is actually the 140's camo values and moving values. I'm not saying it has to be the one equal to that, but my vision for this is artillery's going to have the concealment values of basically a medium tank. Mobility, top speed of 35 on medium terrain. I want the T92 to be able to move. Now, largely the reason it can't achieve that now is it's got a really poor power to rate ratio. But however Wargaming wants to go about it, artillery needs to be able to move, keep up with the heavies particularly, or semi keep up with the mediums to be able to get into those new firing positions to constantly be moving. Remember, you do more damage the closer you get. So you're going to be constantly wanting to get into those locations where you can actually get your gun firing. And the mission changes. Stun missions will now be replaced with tracking. So basically all those stun tanks for 120 seconds, it's now track tanks for 120 seconds, which is going to be much easier to do since you're going to be doing more external module damage, particularly tracks. But there's risk to this as well. So I think this is actually a good change. All right, so let me know in the comments below, guys, what you think of that. Do you hate it? Do you like it? Do you disagree with any of it? How terrified are you? Worried that artillery would be too overpowered or too weak? Do you like the idea of artillery having to move up to do more damage, or do you want to just think it's fine sitting in the back corner? I think it's important to have these conversations so that we as a community can let Wargaming know that, hey, we're not happy with the current iteration of the game or the current iteration of this class. I think players are beyond, they don't like the stun and they don't want to be one shot. And this is my solution to that. But let me know in the comments, guys. I'm ready for it. Bring on the hate, bring on the praise. I really want to know. So that's it, guys. Cheers and good luck in your matches.